Hello, so good morning for this new session for the AIS conference. So this session will focus on a case study from the customer Sanofi. And we'll see SAP GRC access control integration challenges with SAP Fiori and the S4HANA architecture. But before going the speech to Roberto and to go to this feedback session detail, I'd like to review with you some key elements for navigation inside the Passable platform. So first of all, if you have any question, you can input your question in the chat. You can see also in the pool section, you have some question form that have been prepared to provide some feedback around what you expect most from access management solution, for example, and what is your feedback on this specific session. In the file section, you will find the material and you can download the presentation from Roberto. And I will also add again the link in the chat for you to have a complete feedback forms on the whole AIS conference. So today, our presenter for this session is Roberto Díaz Coma. He's a telecommunication engineer with 20 years of experience in IT risk management, leading SAP security teams with large multinational companies like Sanofi, but before also Heineken, Sara Lee, Ineos. During this session, we will go through how Sanofi is globally deploying his new back office cross-functional system, covering finance, global shared services, supply chain, and trade across all Sanofi global business units, which we call the SHIFT program. And how SAP GRC access control have been deployed, and what have been the challenges around the integration with the new Fiori user interface and the new S4HANA technology. So Roberto, you can share your screen and you can start your session. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent.
We can see your screen.
Thank you, Vincent. Well, good day to everyone. And welcome to this TAC webinar on the challenges to integrate SAP GRC access controls with the newest SAP platform, which is S4HANA. So this webinar is conducted by Sanofi, which is currently implementing a global ERP into our biggest markets, countries around the globe through the program called SHIFT. So the SHIFT program started in 2016. We went live with the pilot countries 2 years ago, so it's 2018. And this global ERP is based in SAP Fiori and S4HANA technology. So this webinar is about the Sanofi challenges and lessons learned to integrate SAP GRC access controls with Fiori and S4HANA. Okay. So this is me. My name is Roberto Díaz. I'm the architecture lead of the Center of Excellence User Access Management under the SHIFT Solutions Delivery Department. So me and most of the SHIFT core team are based in Barcelona. So actually Sanofi decided to create a new technology hub in Barcelona to run this program and to bring Sanofi colleagues from all around the world. So we can say that the team is quite international. Actually, being a local in the Sanofi, well, in the Barcelona hub is quite an exception. Well, I'm very glad to be with you all today in this webinar. And of course, thank you to the TAC, to the TA Cook organization for organizing this event and giving me the chance to participate. So, well, this is the agenda. So the first 3 parts are an introduction on who we are, the SHIFT program, and the SHIFT UAM solution. And the last 4 parts are about the successes and challenges to integrate S/4HANA with the 4 SAP GRC modules, which are access risk analysis, business rule management, access request management, and emergency access management. I hope you all are familiar with those. So let's start. So at Sanofi, our passion is to prevent, treat, and cure illness and disease through life. I guess you all know that we are a Sanofi. We are a pharmaceutical company, and we must be complying with several regulations like SOX or GXP. So the standard quality good practices, which is mandatory for the pharmaceutical companies. So Sanofi is a global business unit organization made of 3 core GBUs. They are specialty care or Sanofi's enzyme, focused on immunology, rare diseases, red blood disorders, neurology, multiple sclerosis, or oncology. General medicines, focused on diabetes, cardiovascular, and so on. And vaccines, or Sanofi Pasteur, focused in influenza, polio, meningitis, etc., etc. And finally, we also have a standalone GBU, which is consumer healthcare, focused on allergy, cough and cold, pain, digestive, and so on. So these are the Sanofi key figures. So Sanofi is a French company headquartered in Paris. We are more than 100,000 employees from 145 nationalities. In terms of turnover, we can see that United States is the biggest country or market, followed by Europe, emerging markets, and finally rest of the world. In terms of company sales, the figure is 36.1 billion euros last year, with a net income of 7.5 billion, which is an increase of 7% last year. So Sanofi is in 100 countries and owns 75 industrial sites over 33 countries. In terms of therapeutic areas, the biggest ones are specialty care and primary care. And quite remarkable is the 22.4 increase of last year in specialty care or Sanofi enzyme. So this is the Sanofi new executive committee, which with quite new faces, starting with Paul Hudson, the CEO. He joined Sanofi last year. Also, Jean-Baptiste de Chatillon, he joined a little bit earlier. He's the CFO. Or also another example is Orno Robert, who is the digital chief officer who joined last summer. So we have heads in each of the GBUs, like general medicines. Let me put like general medicines, vaccines, consumer healthcare, or specialty care. And of course, we have big pillars like finance or industrial affairs. Remember that Sanofi is a manufacturing company, so industrial affairs is quite important. So Paul Hudson brought the Play to Win, which is the new strategy framework, which is focused on 4 priorities, which is focus on growth, lead with innovation, accelerate efficiency, and reinvent how we work. Very quickly, Sanofi embraces its responsibilities to society. You can see here several initiatives. At last but not least, as very current news, Sanofi is also committed to fight against COVID by either developing vaccines, investigating potential treatments, and so on. So moving on, the SHIFT program. SHIFT aims to, 1, enable the GBUs, the global business units, with common analytics. This is to improve performance and to bring real real-time information, and also with budget tools. Then 2, enable our global shared services with standard process end-to-end. And 3, simplify or standardize processes and to improve the user experience with SAP Fiori and mobility. The technology breakthrough brought by SHIFT is one, accelerated back office with the in-memory technology brought by SAP HANA and the simplified S4 data model. 2, one source of data for finance, controlling, and sales. 3, unified master data through the SAP master data governance system or solution. 4, real-time analytics, leveraging the in-memory technology. 5, interface integration and monitoring, SAP cloud applications and private cloud hosting for infrastructure. So we are in the T-Systems private cloud. The main SHIFT components are S/4HANA, BW, Master Data Governance, or MDG, Global Trade Services, CTS, BI, Fiori, and all of those are integrated with Nova. Nova is our is the Sanofi name that we gave to the SAP GRC implementation. The SHIFT principles are first, harmonization. We create global processes through all the company. 2, adhere to standard. So we try to minimize as much as possible the customizations. 3, good enough is better than perfect. So meeting timelines is more critical than achieving perfection. 4, drive the change. And 5, create value for our customers. It's not here, but it's also nice. Try to be nice with the Fiori and mobility. Then the scope of SHIFT is, well, you can see the processes here. So it's back office processes. So it's finance and commercial. It's not included industrial processes, but we are interfacing with the industrial ERPs through what we call Athena articulated model. So with this, we are interfacing with the S-Core program, which is managing the industrial processes, right? And then we also have, there's a separate program, which is the Treasury Core model, which is fully integrated in our SHIFT platform. This is the Sanofi ERP landscape, so many standalone ERP systems which we aim to integrate with SHIFT. Application map, so as mentioned so SHIFT is about back office processes, and you can see here them with the different solutions like Fiori, GRC, MDG, GTS, and so on. This is the high-level roadmap. So the SHIFT program started in 2016. We went live in 2018 with the pilot countries in Iberia and Benelux, with the idea to roll it out or to deploy into the rest of the countries. So this roadmap was changed with the, let's say, with the new CFO. And then the new roadmap is to focus on North America only, so US and Canada. This will allow to decommission the standalone system in US. And also, it was decided to enhance the SHIFT platform with industrial processes. This is through a program called Integrated ERP or iShift. So we are extending the SHIFT. So this is the iShift program, Integrated ERP, which is going to enhance or to bring new industrial processes. You see them here. And also then to leverage the SHIFT finance and commercial operations and the SHIFT platform. So we are enhancing the SHIFT platform with the industrial processes. And this is a roadmap. Let's not consider this is subject to changes, but what I would like to represent here is more the ambition on the roadmap, which is to integrate all these solutions and countries. Let's move on to the SHIFT UAM solution. So let's focus on the production systems. If we zoom in, we have 5 production systems, which is S/4HANA and Fiori, and also MDG, GTS, and BW. We started with version 16.10, and we recently upgraded it to 18.09. It was this year in April 2020. So we have 3 environments. So development, this is to build and do FUT, consolidation for the system integration tests, and pre-production. This is for the user acceptance tests. We have 3 tracks. One, the support track to manage the live country changes. Then we have the project 1 track. This is where we use it for our big deployments or major releases. And then we have the project 2 track, which is for the SHIFT program. This is quite complex because all the changes which go to production needs to be retrofitted into the solutions in the project 1 and project 2. This is integrated with SAP GRC. We don't have an identity and access management solution, but we are using SAP GRC. All our, let's say, identities are in the Sanofi corporate active directory. So all our Sanofi employees and externals are in there. And SAP GRC uses those identities to as a user source to provision in our SHIFT platform. So we are using the 4 ERP, the 4 modules of SAP GRC access controls. So we are in the version 10.1 and expecting to migrate it soon to version 12. This is in a nutshell all the UAM project activities. You can see in the first line in the top all the project phases like design, build, unit test FUT, so the functional unit test, then the system integration test 1 and 2, user acceptance test, then we have business simulation, regression test, cutover, go live, and hypercare. In the bottom swimming line, we have the role build activities. So we have first the design, then we build, and then we do role fixing as per the different project phases. Then in this second swimming line, it's also very important. This is segregation of duties management activities. With S/4HANA and Fiori, it's very important that we need to update our SOD rule set with the new Fiori apps, right? And then in the different project phases, we need to make sure that our business roles are free of conflicts, and also the users that we plan to provision in all of the deployments are SOD, are free of conflicts, or we minimize the number of risks, right? So just after the role design is finished, then our local change management team, they can start the mapping of the business roles to their user, to the organization. So we start first with the key users, which are going to be involved in the UAT. So this is our first priority, and the second priority, we focus on the rest of the end users. So what we do is we provision the users in our lower environments. We run the analysis, and then we do SOD remediation activities to minimize as much as possible the conflicts, right? And then we also do training on the role owners and users on user access management related processes. So this is in a nutshell what we do. And then, so we follow the master derived role concept. So we create master single roles with the transactions and then we derive those in, we create derived single roles with the respective organizational structures and values. So in a regular ECC system, we would have single roles with the transactions, so normally, and then we used to access through SAP client. Now with S/4HANA and Fiori, the users access through the browser, and then they are using Fiori apps and tiles instead of transactions. So we also follow the business role master concept. So the business role is defined in SAP GRC access controls, and this is just a grouping of single roles. So this is the master, what we really assign to the user and create in SAP GRC is a derived business role, which again, it's a grouping of derived single roles. Let's say the addition of the S/4HANA and Fiori technology is that it brings new systems and new roles for the Fiori system. So we are multiplying the roles to be assigned to the user, right? So this is the business role concept, meaning that a business role is a grouping of single roles, but it can group roles from multiple systems. And this is very important because in our solution, the users require roles for multiple systems like Fiori is for HANA, but also BW, GTS, or MDG. Now we can go directly to the challenges, integration challenges from SAP GRC access controls and S/4HANA. So S/4HANA brings in memory, well, it's based on in memory SAP HANA, and well, it brings faster information processing, right? So it's better performance, but it also brings new processes, new Fiori apps, new data modeling, and of course, it brings risks, at least in the beginning, when the platform is not fully mature. For example, it brings new access directly into the database. The access with Fiori means that we have new systems and new roles. So we are multiplying the number of roles. So this is also a new risk. And also it brings new processes, new transactions, and also new the concept of business partner that I will discuss later on. So yeah, the major changes, and as I said, it's multiplication of roles, right? Because of Fiori, new SOD risks. So the rule set needs to be updated with the new Fiori apps and OData services. And of course, all these new elements brings new complexity and new risks. Okay, so now I would like to focus on the successes and challenges that we got to integrate access risk analysis. Let's focus now in access risk analysis with our S4 platform. So this is a success, meaning that with the GRC access controls, we were able to meet our risk management requirements. So what I can say is that GRC access controls successfully managed the new the risks coming from the new Fiori apps, right? We were able to put under control the risk management. All of our roles are clean of SOD risks. Only 4 out of up to 100 are SOD free. And we reduced the number of SOD conflicts into acceptable levels. Challenges, well, we had to install the latest service packs in GRC access controls, which is service pack 19 and onwards. And the challenge is that we need to update the SOD rule set with the new Fiori apps and OData services. So this is quite an exercise, customization exercise. A challenge that we had, well, we found we have a few SOD false SOD positives, And this is because we detected a couple of Fiori apps which are calling to the same OData service, and the rule set is not able to look deeper, so it's only stopped at the OData service. And what we are missing here is more parameters in the rule set to look deeper. So if we would have more fields in the rule set, like semantic objects, actions, or parameters, we would be able to clean up this false positive. It's not that critical for us because in the end we are detecting a risk. It's not that we are not detecting, but this is a false positive. Okay. Let's focus now on the business role management module. So this is BRM is key in our success to implement S4 HANA. Why? Well, this is because, as I said, S4 HANA brings multiplication of business roles and multiple systems, and the only way to simplify this grouping, let's say, of roles requirements is with a solution which can group roles from multiple systems, and this is achieved by business role management model. So this is a success. Also a success is that, well, we had to do a customization on SAP GRC access controls, VRM. Why? This is because every time that we change a business role, we need to synchronize the changes to the users. So access controls bring a functionality to do the synchronization, but it's only one by one role. As you can imagine, in a big project like SHIFT, we need to do this in mass. And then we were able to customize this feature to allow to do mass business role synchronizations. Now, this is a challenge, and this is a very important challenge. So we are lacking integration in the role design and build. So let me give you the background. So our authorization matrix is based on it's an Excel file where we have the definition of master, business roles, and single roles. Right? It's just an Excel file. And then in our environment, we have multiple systems like S4 HANA, MDG, GTS, and BW. We have multiple environments, development, consolidation, pre-production, and production, multiple tracks, support, project 1 and 2, multiple changes in parallel to the same object or role from any of the 3 tracks. And of course, the S4 HANA architecture brings additional complexity because we have multiple roles. As you can imagine, managing this is with an Excel file. Well, it's very, very complex. We need a solution which is able to provide us a clear picture of what is the derived business role and derived single role applicable to each of the systems in a particular phase. So for example, we should be able to know which derived business roles and single roles should be applicable, for example, in the project track, in the UAT, in a particular time, which is different than the picture that we have in production or in the support track for the UAT. So we should be able to do different versions depending on the system and the project phase. To manage that, as you can imagine, we had to build complex Excel files and access databases, queries, and this is very challenging. So this is the lack of integration that we are missing from SAP. Okay. Remediation. We need to improve our governance on the authorization matrix. So we have defined a guardian gatekeeper who is the one maintaining this matrix, and Sanofi is currently deploying a solution to fit this gap. So we are creating an ABAP solution in our SHIFT platform to automatize the management of this design and build. We are also missing integrity and quality controls on the roles. For example, SAP GRC does not allow to transport roles. Unlike, for example, in the S/4HANA, where we can create a role and to lower environments and to test it and then to transport, this ensures integrity. We cannot do that in SAP GRC. So in SAP GRC, what we do is we can create a role, but then at least in project mode, what we do is create an Excel file, a template, and then we upload in mass the roles directly in production. So we are missing this integrity features, and also some features like doing role comparison or reporting functionality, for example, to know role changes in mass. So there's a functionality to know role changes role by role, but of course in project mode would be interesting to have it in mass. Okay. What else? Also, we are missing capabilities on business role information. So our end users should be able to do searches on which business role has what transaction. So normally the end users, they don't have access to GRC access controls. It's only a few users in the organization. And then we are missing for this functionality. Today, there are some options that we are currently exploring. Also, business role renaming process. Every time that we need to rename a business role, a business role rename, we consider that this is kind of cosmetic change, but in the end, the impact is big because we need to create a new role to provision it to the users and to provision the role to the users. This is not specifically for GRC, it's also in S/4HANA, but maybe something that SAP could add in the roadmap to be able to do role name changes. Let's go now to the next module, which is access request management. So our success is that, well, this module allows us to fit our requirements. This is to provision roles and with compliant workflow. I'm considering manager approvals, SOD risk analysis, role owner approvals, and also adding additional authentication or approval for EXP-related roles. We have also done an interesting, very interesting development, which is to to create user access request in mass, and this is also very important for project mode. Then, this is the mass user access request development that I've mentioned. And then, well, one of the challenges that we have is that SAP GRC has a link between users, business roles, and single roles. We often see that this link is broken because of different factors. Of course, there are SAP nodes to try to minimize this problem, but they are very difficult to accomplish. Right? So then the impact when this link is broken is that GRC does not recognize that single role for the user, and then we cannot remove the single role to the user, right? So remediation is that we need to clean manually all the access to the user and to provision the business role again. We are also missing business role access information. So our users should be able to know which business role is assigned to the user. But again, this is only possible if you access SAP GRC access controls. Not all our users have access to SAP GRC access controls, so they cannot. So GRC access controls has a functionality also to search which business roles a user has, but this is very you can do it only user by user. Of course, in a project phase, we are interested to have this information in mass. So we are lacking for this information. Of course, you can create queries, but this is not out of the box. And finally, emergency access management. we were able to to fit the requirements to manage emergency access. Relevant successes is that Sanofi has developed a semi-automated log review, meaning that we have created sites and predefined reason codes, which are linked to expected transactions. So firefighter controllers, they get a notification on if the firefighter usage is expected or not as per the reason code selected when for the firefighter. And of course, this facilitates the review, the firefighter controller. We have also developed some escalation firefighter reports, which are able to consolidate escalations in the firefighter controller. So when the firefighter controllers do not review the reports on time, then this is escalated. And this is especially on project mode where we have a big workload of firefighter log review. It's important that the managers of the controllers, they have a consolidated view on the escalations or the missing logs to be approved. Okay. And lack of functionality. Well, with Fiori, some functionality is only available from Fiori apps, not from S4 HANA. For example, the bank master data related app, meaning that and the challenge here is that there's no emergency access management functionality for Fiori. So the firefighter functionality only works in the ABAP platform. So meaning that for project deployments where we have data migration, for example, in the bank master data, we need to manage this emergency access manually. So it's we need to provision a powerful role to track the approval of that powerful role and also to monitor the usage manually. Okay, and also it's and this is the last challenge that we see is that especially on project mode we are interested to create firefighter users timely. Is used for the cutover activities. Of course, there's a functionality to create the users in mass, but if we do this, we are not able to track firefighter owner approvals. And this is very important for our audit purposes. So as a remediation, Sanofi is going to develop a program to create mass firefighter requests in mass. So then with that request, we would be able to properly track the firefighter owner approval. And yeah, this would be very useful for audit purposes as well. So I think that's all that I wanted to share. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now it's time for questions.
Thank you, Roberto, for this very detailed feedback about your project. So let's see what are the questions. So I have one question from Konstantin Zhukovsky. How do you use risk analysis results to update your roles? How do you make sure that removing authorization does not disrupt business operation?
Yes, well, that's a very good question. So, well, we use access risk analysis to do that. So basically, what we do is we do simulations, right? When we need to remove access, so we do simulations to make sure that the risks are removed, right? But especially when we are removing access, we are impacting our live countries, right? So what we do is first, we do an impact analysis. So we identify all the users who are impacted, so the users who have the role which is going to be changed, and then we provide also a contingency measure. So we provide them the business roles which have the transaction which is going to be lost. And then, of course, before going live, we communicate to the live countries these changes, and we give them some time for them to adapt. So this is how.
Thank you. Another question from Ronnie Cools. Have you considered the use of SAP Identity Management in combination with GRC Access Control to deal with the challenges on design, build, and quality control?
So, well, basically, we already have at Sanofi, we have some identity and access management solutions, but in the end, there's not big difference by using an identity and access management solution or GRC. So in the end, it's about provisioning a business role, and the business role you can either provision it through identity and access management or SAP GRC access controls. SAP GRC access controls is more integrated with SAP, and then we want to leverage the integration of SAP GRC rather than other identity and access management solutions. SAP GRC is also very well integrated with the risk analysis, so we want to leverage all the integration features with a unique SAP solution, which is SAP GRC.
Thank you, Roberto. And if I can add some element in general, SAP Identity Management can provide additional functionality for mass maintenance, which is not always available. And you had some challenges you describe around the mass maintenance. These features are standard ones available in identity management. And also another important point, we have for sure a standard integration model to integrate identity management and access control together. Let's see another example of question from Azedine Amzawi. Do you use a central gateway for the Fiori Launchpad? So I think they are asking if you have one common Fiori Launchpad for S/4HANA and other SAP application, or do you have a dedicated Fiori front end for each?
No, we use a common gateway for our SHIFT solution.
Thank you.
Yes.
Another question from Charukesh Gaiwat. How many mitigation controls Sanofi have deployed? How do you monitor its effectiveness?
So, well, very good question. So we have around 144 risks defined in SAP GRC access controls. Not all of them, some of them are forbidden risks. So we are not allowed. We have around 100 acceptable, let's say, risks, meaning that we have mitigating controls on those, right? Then we have also automated solutions to really detect real SODs. So this is a real SOD is when it was really materialized. So the risk, meaning that the same user used conflicting transactions, right? And then what we also have is automated mitigating controls. So in the cases where we have a defect, meaning that an SOD control has been materialized, then what we do is we run these mitigating protocols, which is also automatized. So as part of the shift, we had to adjust these protocols to use the updated Fiori reports or Fiori apps.
Thank you. Another question from Azedine. There is SOD risk. Is there any SOD risk improvement between before and after your migration to S4?
So there is improvement. Well, yes, at least in the biggest deployment, which is for North America. So we can say that we succeed at least for the first wave. So we have a first wave which was more on finance operations. We went live with zero SOD conflicts. Zero SOD conflicts. It's not the case on the pilot countries, which were smaller countries where we had conflicts. But yeah, so we have introduced a significant improvement in the reduction of SOD conflicts. Of course, this is more important in big countries like US, where it's a bigger organization.
Thank you, Roberto. So we are at the end of the session. I will give a last message. There is a dedicated coffee session to exchange with the SAP experts on all the cybersecurity topics. So please join this session at 12 if you want to have a deep dive discussion. And again, you can still send additional questions to all the presenters using the passable user interface. So thank you very much and see you at the next session.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.